Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people.
Have you seen The Incredibles?
Oh yeah, it's the best superhero movie there is. Well, it's one of the best superhero movies.
What? From you?
My list is a little biased. I have an odd. I think I've told you this before, but I have an odd view of best superhero movies. My picks are a little weird. A, because I love them all. I love like the old Fantastic Four movies that everybody hated. I love like there's like a 1980s version of Captain America that like does not make any sense at all, and I love that one. It's super duper weird. It's like the Red Skull is there, and I don't know. It's like kind of James Bond, kind of Captain America. It's so bizarre, but I loved it. But and for years they tried to make a good Fantastic Four movie, and they failed spectacularly.
What is it about Fantastic Four that sucks? That makes the movie suck about it?
They just couldn't figure it out. They didn't get the tone right, and the tone is it's a family. It's a guy and his wife and her kid brother and their buddy, and you know what I mean. They're not like tortured outcasts, and they're not like a collection of random heroes that, it's like you and your little brother who also is overpowered, and you know what I mean, can take over the world or whatever. And they fight their main bad guy, Dr. Doom, is Fantastic Four. It's Reed Richards. It's like his buddy from college. It's his college rival. You know what I mean? So it's really like family drama. But for years they couldn't get a Fantastic Four movie right, and everyone was like, they did get a Fantastic Four movie right. It was The Incredibles.
Oh, I see.
So, but anyway, I think that's a great one. A bunch of my top, like Lego Batman, I think is just one of the best ever. And the Spider-Verse movies are incredible. They're probably more.
I know, I gotta watch the second one.
It's so good. They really.
Oh, here's the problem. I thought I'd seen it because the first one's called Into the Spider-Verse and the second one's called In Space to the Spider-Verse or whatever.
Across.
Okay. Across the Spider-Verse. I'm sorry. You're going to use two prepositions and replace them. Like, I'm not going to notice the difference.
Well, you need an eagle eye. You need an eye for detail, obviously. And I got bad news for you. The third one's going to be called Beyond.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. Under, around, below.
And through.
Okay. Oh, I asked because you are looking like the mom from The Incredibles right now.
Thank you. Thick?
No, she was stretchy. The dad was thick.
Thick with 3 C's.
There
is a lot of. Speaking of which, there is. I mean, as a sidebar before we even get there, but there's a lot of like. There's a huge contingent of online people who think the mom from The Incredibles is like super unreasonably hot, right?
No, now I gotta Google this.
They're like, wow, that butt. They didn't need to make that butt that big, but they did, and we're so thankful for it, and we're so blessed.
So it's not that being bendy is sexy. It's not that they're like, ooh, a flexible person.
I think that's that's like 15-20% of it, and then the other 80-85% is like butt, giant butt.
I hate that mom from Incredibles image searches in my history now.
I know, your poor FBI or NSA guy or whatever.
Oh wow, yeah, and her waist is so thin. She looks like Nicki Minaj.
Only more heroic. Well, equally heroic.
Equally heroic.
Same tier.
Wow. The masks are so cool.
I know. And thank you for saying that. That's now, in the last week, my butt has been quite the topic of your channel.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Everybody's talking about your daddy cakes.
And we did that video with the silly superhero suits.
Yeah, so this is Max is talking about how we made a video wearing Zozo Fit suits, which we've interviewed someone from their team before, and you may have seen it on my channel, but it looks like spandex with a bunch of dots over it that makes you seem like a superhero. And all the comments on that video.
Yeah.
It's everyone talking about your butt.
Never in my life has my butt been the focus of any topic or any focal point at all. It's been a lot of beard, a lot of arms, a lot of gigantic head comments. Because my head is about 35 pounds.
It's because you don't wear enough spandex is the problem.
I guess. And I've been doing my Bulgarian split squats for the past year. And at Brittany's party, the first thing that happened was I knocked over a drink with my butt.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on?
He's
what
growing
is this
up.
world? It's bizarre. So thanks for that. Thanks for now
well,
giving me
okay. So have you been?
complex.
Yeah. Is it because you've been working on it?
Well, this year I started a completely new workout program. I actually focused on strength training and stretching. I actually did I wrote everything down. I started specifically tracking instead of just eyeballing it. I started doing progressive overload of heavy strength stuff,
You had
instead of
not done that before?
I had done it just not very consistently, and I never tracked it. And I'm always like, yeah, I think it's about this, and that feels about right, and blah blah blah. And I certainly didn't ever do legs because what? Who cares? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the secret is legs includes butt.
Right. And I had no idea about that. I would do like deadlifts here and there, but I wouldn't like really focus on it at all.
See, I would think that would be good enough. I over obsess about tracking and want to make sure I have perfect I'm watching every little minute detail. And I think to myself, yeah, I do this because I like that. But if I just eyeballed it, I would still make progress. You still get there. But turns out,
I think you probably would, and I'm probably downplaying it a little bit. I will say the big difference was my idea of working sets changed. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure it was a combination of people that we interviewed over the year. But the working set is I used to do like 3 sets, and each set was 5 or 10 more pounds, so I'd move up. So if I'm doing shoulder presses, I do 20s, then 25s, then 30s, or something like that. And in reality, the last set was the working set, and the other two weren't really, or that approach, So now I do 3 sets of the top level weight, and that's what counts as a working set. I'll do a warm up before, and I'll do maybe a come down afterwards or whatever. But that was a change. And really just the tracking, honestly, because I am one of those people who's like, that feels about right. Well, we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to go too crazy on that one. Like that's a bit much. But yeah, I don't know. And it was definitely a lot more of me like writing everything down and buckling down. Like, okay, today's workout 1 and today's workout 2, and I have my 5 workouts that encompass all the exercises that I want to make sure I'm hitting for the week or whatever.
Yeah, interesting. I would have thought that counting your warm up sets as working sets would still work too. But I guess your training age is far enough that that'll work for newbie gains or whatever. But then you need to start dialing it in.
Yeah. And what an actual heavy weight is. I forget who it was, but she was so smart. But she was like, if you do a set and you hit 8 and you can hit 10, then you really didn't hit 8. Or I forget how they put it, but it was something like that. Like what an actual failure is.
Not that you should go to failure, supposedly.
Yeah. And then judging what your working weight is off of that.
Yeah.
So that changed dramatically.
Well, it was the guy that does lean gains. Actually, the guy that got me into intermittent fasting also help me understand this, that he does reverse pyramid training. So I guess pyramid training is right, working your way up to a heavy set. And he's like, no, that was a warm up. And then you do a heavy set so heavy that then you have to move down and down and down. And the pyramid is like this, standing on its tip instead on its base.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not that aggressive, but yeah.
Very conspiracy theory of you. Upside down pyramids, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's my eye that's on the dollar.
But yeah, anyway, that's changed. And then the stretching has changed too. I've definitely focused a lot more on stretching.
That's so dumb because it doesn't work. Who did we talk to that was like, nope, stretching doesn't work? Kevin. I'm blanking on his last name. But he was pretty recent. Do you remember you brought him in?
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm looking
Is
it
he the
up. No, sorry,
guy?
Greg Hawthorne. Wow, not even close. Ha!
Was he the one who said you got to train your obliques because they can push your internal organs around? And we were like, what?
And that's when I stopped training my obliques because I want to look like a CrossFitter. I'm like, awesome. I'll just make a trunk. No more obliques.
My organs are getting too cushy. Somebody needs to push them around a little bit. Somebody
squish them back in there.
My organs.
But, I don't wear a corset. I build my own.
A meat corset.
Anyway, he was like, nope, stretching, it doesn't do anything. And no matter how much you stretch, you're not going to improve. You just have a natural neurological end to where you can reach towards your toes. And then Kaylee Maurer is speaking to us as a pretzel.
Yeah.
Although she was like, I'm not naturally flexible.
Right.
And she's like, I had to work at it. And I know she was surrounded by naturally flexible girls that were just like, what? This is so easy. So it makes sense that she was a little frustrated about the effort she had to put in. So which one is it?
It's got to be somewhere in the middle. You know, maybe people have a limit that they can work toward, they can only get to or work towards, but you can still work towards it. And, you know, like me, I had thought I stretched because I did. I stretched very consistently for 8 straight years and I never saw any change whatsoever. But then I stopped.
But then you wrote it down?
No, then I stopped and then I got way worse. So it's possible that like I was at my peak and my peak is just pathetic.
Peak stretch. That's funny. Yeah, well, at least you're so you didn't realize that it was helping you maintain.
Right. I was just looking around. It's sort of the opposite of Kaylee. I was looking around at all these people, you know, sort of laissez-faire, just like blah, 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 feet behind my head all of a sudden. And I'm like struggling with sitting cross-legged, you know.
Yeah.
But luckily I did that one. I wish I had done more, but I did 1 or 2 videos from January when I decided to start. It was my New Year's resolution, was to stretch. And you know, it's fun because essentially I treat the New Year's resolution like I'm giving it a month.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot for a month. And if I like this habit, I'll stick with it. If I don't like it, then whatever. Who cares? But you know, a month of pretty significant, dedicated, you know, that's good enough for me to get an idea of whether I like it or not. And I sort of just stuck with it. And I did one video or a couple of videos where I was trying to touch my toes and my hands get about past my knees, but not that much further. And then I do it from the side angle and it just looks horrifying. And I can tell, and the best part of the video is I get up afterwards and I'm like, oh, jeez, you know?
Yeah.
But looking at it back, you're like, that's it, bro? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then I did one the other day and I could uncomfortably, but definitely I could actually do it. I bent down and I touched my toes.
Yeah.
And that was a shocker for sure. Because I was like, this is not what I expected.
That's so awesome. That progress. You did it. You did the thing that you committed to in under a year too. What the?
And I didn't hurt myself. Imagine that.
And then you sent me a photo of you cut out doing it.
I know I didn't mean to do that, but I love the new iPhone. You send a sticker of your own body or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny.
I was like, does he expect me to use this as a sticker? So, or was he in some embarrassing situation that he wanted to delete the background? Why did he send me a sticker of him touching his toes? Oh, he's touching his toes.
Make a carpet out of me.
Yeah. I can now. I've been unlocked a new superpower.
That's great.
The carpet.
It was wild, honestly. And
that's really cool.
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard in a lot of ways. One was either building. What I did was I built it into my workout, my real air quotes real workout. So when I'm doing my strength training, weight training, I have a timer it's usually a minute rest, which I know is short compared to what a lot of our guys would say, a lot of our guests would say, but whatever, I'm just doing a minute.
Depends on your goals.
So I did whole stretching workouts. That's the first thing I did. That counted as a workout for me.
How much time?
And then 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I would find a YouTube video, and it's some babe who is stretching and in an incredibly sexually suggestive way, and I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm too tired to find the burly guy stretching video. Maybe I should make the burly guy stretching video.
That should be you. All right, dudes. Here's how we're gonna touch our toes today.
What's up, bros? Hamstring, more like hamstrung, am I right? Anyway, bend over, try to touch your toes. Oh, you can't? Shocker. So that's the first thing I would do is I would do full workout videos of just stretching, which was so foreign to me. But in my mind, I was like, nope, that counts as a workout. And so that was a bit of an easy way to do it. And then the other way, which was the more effective way, I think, was that I built the stretching into my rest periods of my strength dumbbell, real person workout. And then the easiest / hardest thing was I would just put my foot up on a shelf or whatever, up either on I'd put a workbench up to 30 degrees or 45 degrees and put my foot on the top of it, because then it's a minute of me just standing there breathing hard. It's a real stretch, and it's a full minute of the stretch, and I'm just standing there trying not to cry, trying not to die. And then the best part is when the minute's up, I'm like, oh, thank God, now I can go back to my overhead press or whatever. Now I can go back to my real strength workout, get rid of that dumb stretching business. But yeah, I mean, it's I also, the other thing was I would and favorite a bunch of stretching videos on Instagram and TikTok, and so then they were served to me again. So then I was constantly reminded about stretching,
constantly inundated with stretching, reminded to go do it.
Yeah, right. Cool. It's just total attack on my brain to be like, hey, dummy. And then what's the other best? Oh, the other thing that I really noticed was in December, before I started, I was having trouble standing on one foot to put my socks on. And I was like, okay, okay, we need to really figure this out a little bit more.
What is that? Obliques? What are your core not holding you up?
It was just such a horrifying, you're not 1,000 years old, Max. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have this much trouble putting socks on. Maybe let's focus on, doing a lunge every once in a while, or, being able to balance on one foot, or, having some sort of semblance of athletic ability that beyond picking something up that's heavy. And so that, all those things contributed. Having a horrifying memory of being inflexible, being inundated with videos reminding me to stretch, having access to videos where I don't even have to think. I'm just follow that stupid routine on the YouTube video, and then having them built into my regular workout that I wanted to do anyway, that then was fun because it got me back to the regular workout.
Yeah, I love that you multiplied your time by putting it where you were just doing nothing, right? I listen to audiobooks whenever I'm working out, thinking, well, at least I'll use my rest time to get smarter. Right. Obviously nonfiction. But now I'm thinking, man, I could also be getting more flexible. That's 3 things at once: working out, getting more flexible, and getting smarter. Jeez, I'm wasting time.
And you should do it all upside down, hanging from your feet. You can be getting taller. What else can we do? So I think there's a limit to that, though. I know that I listened to books when I was like jogging, audiobooks, or when I would run to the park and work out. And there's like giant chunks of it where I'm like I'm re-listening to the same book
Oh,
because
sure. I'll
the
go
new one's
back
coming
because
out,
I wasn't paying
and I'm
attention.
like, whoa, when did this happen? I don't remember any of this stuff, because I would do fiction or nonfiction, and I would just like miss whole chapters of stuff, and I'm like, whoa, that guy died? I don't remember that, or like
Yeah.
if it was a
I
fiction
definitely
or
pause while I'm lifting, which is silly, but I'm focused, right? And then start
yeah,
it again.
yeah,
But you're right. And you would run better and faster if you were listening to Meghan Trainor, no question.
yeah,
So you're really compromising how hard you're pushing your cardio because you aren't rocking out to All About That Bass.
of course. I also
Butt reference.
oh, we made oh god, we were at dinner the other night, and everyone was making these horrible puns about this girl was dating a saxophone player, and so someone was like, yeah, I bet he's so sexy,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like really bad. And then there was like two bad ones, and then it died down, and I was like, I hope he doesn't get into treble. And nobody
Hey!
got it. One girl got it, and she's like, that's the worst one yet, but thanks for putting the cap on it. And then everybody was like, what are you talking about? What? And then it like slowly went around the table, and I was like, I need new friends. This is I can't believe I said
Wait,
that. I can't believe they didn't get it. I can't believe we just all went through that exercise.
it
I should
didn't
just go
work.
home.
What made you think of that?
Bass, treble,
Oh, travel. Okay.
puns. Ha 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 ha.
Yes.
God, I hate puns. I hate puns so much.
What? Me and our friend Sarah Croce have built a career on them.
I know. I know. It's rough.
What are you, a dog?
Very good.
Dingo. Anyway, I'm proud of you and your stretchiness. That's so cool. I can't believe it's August and we're talking about New Year's resolutions. Look at
I
you
know.
committing. How do you give that to someone else?
I think I think I just know that I can do it now. The big one was the meditate. Remember, I that was a New Year's resolution, and then I did it
That
for a
still
year.
blows my mind.
Yeah, and
And you were so nonchalant about it every time. You're like, yep, still doing it. Still sucks. I'm like, what? I need a reward. I enjoy writing my numbers down when I lift. I enjoy eating the same thing every day. You did not enjoy the thing you committed to.
I know. Maybe the enjoyment was just proving it to myself that it sucked and it didn't work.
Like, take that, all of the religion
Yeah,
that
all you believers,
meditates.
you idiot believers, you idiots who are bettering your life. Or
You think you're doing something and you're not.
yeah, but I think that's sort of how it went. It was a combination of I did one because I never really did New Year's resolutions. I sort of was like, I'd make jokes about it, or I'd be like, if I wanted to improve my life in February, I'm happy to do that in February.
Yeah.
Or if I come across something that works really well, then blah blah blah. But again, it's one of those things that like if it's another reminder, what's the harm? If it's something I'm trying to do and this is another way to remind myself of doing it, then yeah, whatever. I'll use New Year's as a resolution machine, reminder, resolution, whatever.
Oh, yeah. The harm is the life lost. Spending 2 years trying to get something and you realize it took that long and why did I do that?
Well,
you got to make the right choice to commit to. Oh, that's another thing.
right.
What if you commit to the same breakfast and it gives you high cholesterol? Like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
What if I commit to trying heroin?
Yeah. Well,
Try new things, New
quitter.
Year's
When are
resolution.
you going to stop? Stop using heroin.
Yes Man sequel is like a real dark.
Oh, yeah.
The Yes Man sequel takes a
Walks
dark
down
turn.
one alley and he's got to say yes.
The Yes Man cinematic universe expands really weirdly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is that what happened with your cholesterol? You figured it out?
Well, I mean, I was eating chicken, and
Because what?
I don't.
So let's do a quick recap of the history of same breakfast. How did
Mm.
you quickly recap what happened and how it happened?
I read 4 Hour Body.
Uh-huh.
No, actually, I started with the lean gains guy, Martin, that I mentioned earlier. He was like, "You don't have to eat breakfast," and I was like, "What? I hate breakfast. I can't believe I've been forcing it on myself." So I stopped eating breakfast, which was great. Looked more into that, then came across Tim Ferriss, and he was like, "Beans. You heard of beans? Eat beans." His slow carb diet.
Uh-huh.
And so I started doing his, yeah, that suggestion from him. And then now that I wasn't having breakfast, I was actually having lunch. It was this same breakfast that I just had every day. And then I
And
started
how
an
did you
Instagram about it,
decide?
but that was like,
How did you decide what went into it?
it was his slow carb diet suggestions. It was chicken, veggies, beans. And I ate that for 2 years and then started Instagram and ate it for another 3 years. But that still bothers me to this day that it had an Instagram that everyone was like, "Wow, I can't believe you've done it for this long." And I'm like, "It's been longer. I just started taking photos like way later." And then I had to switch that because I had high cholesterol. I don't know if that's what caused it because I was also eating a lot of eggs and also genetics and whatever it was, but I had to go vegan, which worked, which means no more chicken. I guess the beans
Right.
are okay. I did actually get rid of the tomatoes even before I went vegan because my nutritionist said have cruciferous vegetables, not nightshades.
Nightshade.
Well, who is it? Dave Asprey hates nightshades. He thinks that they're
A lot of people hate
inflammatory and
nightshades.
dangerous.
Tom Brady hates nightshades. Tom Brady's got a bizarre diet, and everybody else makes fun of him for it. But
Yeah.
I think in the whole spectrum of bizarre diets, he's medium high, but not ultra high. When you get into
Yeah.
the real fitness lunatic gurus or whatever.
Would you send me that one TikTok of a guy that he's like, "I got this delicious high protein breakfast," and then he just pours egg whites into a pan and puts Greek yogurt on top of it and then hot sauce.
And ground beef.
Oh yeah. And he's making it with these overhead shots like he's some chef. And afterwards he's eating it like, "Here you go. This is you're welcome for this delicious
Oh, you
and
guys gotta try
protein."
this. This is so good. He's doing that like yum bite the way like Instagram food people do.
Yeah, like he's Giada De Laurentiis. And then everyone in the comments is like, "What?"
They're like, that's a joke, right? This is not delicious at all. Like you didn't get a cookbook, you got a macro like outline,
Yeah.
and you just you didn't make this in a kitchen, you made it with a calculator. Like that's disgusting. It was ground beef, scrambled eggs, Greek yogurt, hot sauce. And he's like, "Oh, you guys, this is so good." And everyone's like, "No, bro, it's not." Like taste is not that individual. Like we can all come together and agree that that's not good.
Not that individual. Now I gotta break vegan to try it. It seems like it's something I would enjoy.
Yeah, it actually sounds fine. I mean, depending on the hot sauce.
So what are we, August? What's your next January then? Are you
I don't
gonna keep
know.
stretching? Do you still
I
meditate?
I do, but not as hard. I probably went I went for about a year full perfect. And then I
And then
probably
you
went for
meditated
another six
really
months.
hard.
Yeah, I went really hard. And I learned quite a bit. I learned what I like and what I don't like. I went through phases. Like I started with Headspace because I like that British guy's voice. It's incredible. But it was very repetitive. It was basically the same thing every day. Close your eyes, think of your breath. Remember to just think of your breath. If you have a passing thought, note that it's a thought and just let it go as if you're sitting and watching clouds go by. If you have a thought, notice that you're having a thought, let it go. Okay, now slowly open your eyes. The end. And so I did that for like 3 or 4
Same
months. It
thing
was
every
great.
day. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
I know. It was really fucking boring.
Ugh.
And then I got into 10% happier because I got a free 6 months or whatever. And that was actually really interesting because they would have like a talk, 2-minute talk beforehand on us on an idea, um, forgiving yourself or like forgiving someone else for something that wronged you, or like being happy with um, your situation today, or like not worrying too much about the past. It would be like a 1 or 2 minute talk, and he would have an interview. It's really smart. He would have an interview with an expert about that. And then if you wanted, and then you would meditate on that. And so he would have those like, okay, remember to just let go of your thoughts, but also, try to focus on someone you want to forgive or love, or, whatever, or yourself in a way. And so that was cool because it had like, I don't know, like specific ideas that you were thinking about, or a goal to strive towards
Yeah.
or whatever. And so now I sort of I do it as part of my morning if I have the time, and I'm pretty good about it, but I'm not ultra rigid. Like I have to do this every day. Frankly, I have to do this every day was only because it was the New Year's resolution, and I wanted to make sure that I, did it
Yeah.
full, to make sure that no one could actually me at the end of the year and be like,
You
well,
missed
you
that
missed.
Wednesday.
Yeah, the 95-day streak is, that's when it really kicks in, and I'm like, okay, geez, I guess I missed that. So now
There,
what
it
I
is anxiety inducing. That streak thing about
yeah, yeah, I don't
once
know.
you break the streak, it's like, oh, well,
Right.
maybe
I
I
think
want to
breaking the
start
streak
again.
is, some people really do well on that, but I think what works for me is, I would envision a calendar with an X through it, and as long as there's a bunch of X's and like not a bunch of blank squares, then I feel pretty good
Okay,
about it.
so it wasn't like, yeah, like you're on fire, he's heating up.
Yeah,
Start over.
that's
1,
so stupid.
2, 3.
I think you're on fire is so dumb. In fact, I think it's the worst rule in beer pong, and I think the people who play you're on fire are just pathetic liars, because you're not on fire, dude. You didn't just hit two in a row. I don't care, and go away. This is so stupid. I
For
think that is
context
the
clues, I know
worst.
what you're talking about, but mine was based on not the video game NBA Jam, but the pinball game made about the video game NBA Jam.
Oh, very good. You play a lot of pinball?
Yes, but not video games. But anyway, you would get,
Third.
if you get, you would be heating up and then on fire. Okay, anyway. So they do that in Pong too. I didn't realize.
People in California have played.
So
If
it's
they
this,
hit two shots in a row, then they say I'm heating up. Then if they hit a third shot in a row, then they get to shoot till they miss, which is absurd. And I don't believe you, and I'm sorry that I wasn't counting your shots in a row. And also that's dumb. You don't get to go more than I get to go. Like,
do
what are you
you,
talking about?
who's getting this many in a row? Do you play against juggling Josh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. When I first moved to LA, they would just say it, and I'd be like, no, you're not.
You just get a fire hose.
Yeah. Sorry, pal. Yeah, an extinguisher. Just the best beer pong rule was I
New
mean, there's a
ball
lot
every
of really
time.
good.
Sterilize it.
The best beer pong rule was troll. If you didn't hit a cup and the other team won 10-0, you had to sit under the table for the next game.
That's fine.
It's hilarious. I had a lot more good rules for King's Cup than I did for beer pong. I feel like
I thought it was naked lap if you didn't get any.
I prefer the naked lap because I like doing naked laps.
So you
I would
just play really poorly so you
I
can
would
run it on
I'd
naked.
rather do that than sit under a table, but also because I wasn't very flexible, so sitting on the ground was not very
Oh yeah,
comfortable for
that's
me.
rough for you. Full circle.
I couldn't even sit cross-legged. I can kind of do it now, but like that was really bad. And I also don't like sitting. I don't like sitting on the ground and leaning back on my arms because I'm really paranoid about someone falling and breaking my elbow. Isn't that weird? Isn't that a weird fear?
Yeah, I guess.
So if you're
Especially if no
leaning
one's
back on
around.
both arms,
Yeah, you're just imagining getting snapped
turn.
in.
Yeah,
Weird.
exactly.
Huh?
Yeah,
You don't do well around the campfire.
that's a personal fear of mine.
Wait, you didn't mention what you're doing for this next year. I guess we should have a whole episode on it. We will in
Oh
January
yeah,
or in
I don't know.
December.
I honestly I came up with both of the last two sort of on a whim, and
Does
what
it
I
feel like you
did
have a superpower? You're like, oh, if I want to do something, it'll just get done.
kind of. But one thing that I did that I know helped me was I told everybody on New Year's Eve. That was my New Year's resolution. Sort of
I
small
heard that
talky,
that is the
but
opposite of helping.
well, I think it can go both ways. For some people, you get the satisfaction that you already did that. I've heard that also. Telling
Yeah,
someone
if you
you're
announce
going
what
to,
your plan is, you get the satisfaction of having already done it, and then you don't do it.
right.
So you should never tell anyone your goals.
I think that's fine for a certain chunk of the population.
Then there's the
I was
accountability thing.
too embarrassed to be. Yeah, mine was the accountability. I'll tell a bunch of people I'll do it because then if they ask how it's going and I say, "Oh, I gave it up," I'll be super embarrassed, or I'll feel
How many
like a
people were like, "Hey,
loser.
how's the meditation going?"
Well, you did quite a bit,
Yes.
and my friend, my one of my other good friends, was really into it too. So that was really fun, and he had been into it for a year or so, maybe before, and so I was really interested in talking to him about it.
Telling him he's
And
wrong.
so it wasn't like people weren't like calling me on my bluff or whatever, or calling me on, but there were opportunities for me to talk about it and stand up for myself. So I was happy with that. I was satisfied with that.
I'm
But I don't
impressed.
know. I don't know what my next year's could be because frankly, those are like really good, tangible ones,
That you
actionable,
can do every day
specific-ish.
and
You
see
can do it
yourself
every
make
day.
progress. Yeah, I know. I know.
It's not like I wonder if you could say like be more successful, you know?
And then every day you just cross it off. Well, I'm got a
You know,
longer
like
beard,
how
so that's a
that
success.
be happier, you know, like well, how do I even start doing that, you know?
Yeah. Well, right. You have to set up a system that then,
Well, you have
because
to
you had a
define what
system for
would,
both of those too. And the system was sit down and meditate or
right.
spend 15 minutes stretching. So, what's the system for being happier?
I
Oh,
know.
right. That's why there are whole religions and spiritual and capitalism around that. Yeah. F.
I guess like identify what would make you happy. But even then, that's sort of like what you were saying earlier. What if I misidentify? What if I'm like, you know, getting in better shape is going to make me happy and it doesn't? I mean, that's a bad
No.
example because that always would make you better.
Yes.
That
Of
would always
course.
make you
Abs will
happier.
definitely make you happy.
Did I see that video, the bodybuilder video?
Yeah. Why do they not have abs? They weren't bodybuilders. They were strong men. Was that what you're
Strong
talking
men.
about?
Sorry.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
You sent me a video of these strong men. It's huge, just massive Adonis men. No, I wouldn't say Adonis because then you think that they're pretty.
Yeah.
They were,
Bear shaped men.
mhm. And someone had commented on their video, if they're so strong, why don't they have abs?
And they all like laugh in their face in the comment in that comment's face. Like, I do have abs under here. Yeah.
Yeah. Abs doesn't mean you're strong. Abs mean you don't eat.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Okay, so then we should spend a considerable amount of time every day just thinking about what would make us happy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
That's the system that you set up for next year. It's not
Well then
pursuing, it's just thinking.
that
Would
seems like
this
my
make
system
me?
for 2 years. You know, then I'll spend a year thinking about what's going to make me happy, and then I'll spend the following year doing what's going to make me happy. That's a slow schedule.
No. Well, that really is just reading things like 10% happier and I don't know, stuff from monks.
Monk stuff.
I still have on my list to do a standing back tuck. It's not going well.
Yeah.
But I don't like what is it? Time restraints?
Right. Well, we don't want you to overtrain.
Yeah, right. You got your toe touch in 8 months though. So I guess time restraints work for you because you're just living faster than me.
I mean, I didn't really I didn't have a time on it. I had
Yeah.
get more flexible, and the loose goal
And
was
it's
touch
so
your
vague too.
toes.
Yeah, you didn't have
I mean, that
this is
was the
somewhat
goal, was touch
trackable.
your toes. But in
Okay, there you
reality,
go.
it's get more flexible. And yeah, I guess that's a good way to say
In
it.
reality, it's get happier.
Right. Right. That's the goal.
It's just a
Is it?
roundabout way. Is the goal to get happier? I don't know. If we only had red gummy bears, then that would be the baseline, and you wouldn't, they'd just be whatever. It's another red gummy bear. You have to have the yellow ones so that the red ones seem awesome.
Well, yeah, if you didn't get a hangover, would be getting drunk worth it? Oh, wait a minute.
No, it's even if you were just always drunk. Imagine that.
It's a
Just
great name
navigating
for
life.
a YouTube channel.
Yeah. So do you have to have the not happy and happiness all the time would be a stupid goal?
They say that. Do you
Hmm.
believe it? I don't know if I believe that. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd be good without like catastrophically bad things happening. Yeah, it could be a rainy day, sure, but I don't need 9/11 to have happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, calm
Yeah,
down,
that's a tough
guys.
one. Oh, well, then that also negates the idea of heaven, unless our brain chemistry somehow changes after we've moved on. Okay, well, obviously we don't even have brains. Look, but imagine now being in heaven and then everything is just always great. That's your baseline. Again, all red gummy bears. Now do we
No, but you had the idea of regular life, so you know how bad it was. So you just have to expand your idea of time.
but it feels like chunks, not sort of like reminders. So we'd have to go back from heaven back to the suck to then come to heaven again. To because I
Maybe
feel like
you're,
I'd get used
maybe
to
you're,
the great and then it great wouldn't be that great.
well, you'd get used to it given your concept of time. So if you live
Oh,
75, 80, 90 years, then yeah, you get bored with something after a few years. But if you live thousands of years or infinite,
yes,
who knows
forever.
how long it
Obviously,
would
we're in
take you to get
heaven.
bored for? Yeah, it's
Okay,
forever.
so you're not bored. Or is it that we're all the angels are sitting in heaven and are like, all right, we got to do our gratefulness practice. Hey guys, remember when we were alive? Oh man, that sucked. This cloud is great. Glad we did that.
All right, everyone who's doing gratefulness practice, go over here. Everyone who needs flexibility stuff, just go ahead over with Max, and he'll lead you into your morning yoga routine.
Wait, we can all touch our toes. Oh, that's right. It's heaven. This is great. Maybe
Good
we're in heaven
Lord.
right now. And the reminders are just a part of what we need.
Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe we're waiting to get reincarnated again
Oh,
as
it's worse.
it's worse. And then it'll be better, and then it'll be worse. And then there you go. There's your back and forth reminders.
Maybe these value judgments on anything are nonsense. And there is no such thing as good and bad. Maybe that. Why have all of our podcasts lately devolved into things like
Yeah,
this?
the most existential, like smoke a bag of weed and like then have this conversation, which neither of us do. Like
I wonder if just all the fit heads are high and that's our target market. We don't even realize it. That and my
no.
mom, she's like, yeah, I did read Monk's literature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, I just had to mention my mom.
Right. Monks have the greatest books and the greatest music. That's just how it goes.
The chanting?
Oh,
Or you mean Thelonious Monk?
I don't know, all of it. I've come across in my meditation videos, I've come across some bizarre, weird ones. One is like monk chant meditation, and it really is like human voices sounding like a didgeridoo for 10 minutes straight. And I'm like, You know that meme where the guy's like pulling off his headphones in disgust. He's like, ah, like that's me for sure. Like that was the weirdest way to spend 10 minutes for.
I think a part of it is that it's supposed to stimulate your vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nerve or whatever. Or even saying does that somehow.
Yeah, you like exhale audibly. That makes a difference versus. Although I do breathe in through my nose when I'm doing the stuff because
We're supposed to.
Because you're supposed to. Breath work.
Yeah, for sure. I bought 5 different nose opening devices from that. The breathe right strips. There are a bunch of other options.
Really? Like forceps. Tiny little.
Yeah, basically you shove them in your nose.
Gross.
Anyway, I'll let you know how it goes. I'm testing them all out. I wonder if it'll make me superhuman and my HRV will go through this roof.
Are any of them shaped like pig snouts? That would be really cute.
Just walking around like a little pig.
Yeah.
And I got to commit to this for several days too. So get ready to let's go to the bar with things shoved in my nose so you can explain that to people because I'm not gonna.
Wear your Zozo suit. That'll distract from the pig snout.
Some people commented on that video being like, do you have to work out in them? And I realized like we never explained that. We scan them before and after a workout.
They specifically tell you not to, but we just did because we're idiots.
No, you don't need to wear it to work out. We just did because we look awesome.
I can't believe.
All right.
Ridiculous.
Well, once again, I'm impressed by you.
Back at you. I couldn't stick a nose breathing earplug up my nose for a week.
Nose breathing earplug. It's made by the same guy that makes my earplugs, Max. Oh, Macks.
Love that.
Yeah, that's funny. Anyway, let us know if any of you in the comments have committed to your New Year's resolution all the way till the 8th month of the year, almost 9th. I feel like it's going to be a lot of no's. Got some no's from me.
No's.
Maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm wrong. If you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts, that helps us out a whole lot. And we'll see you next week.